Guys, welcome to the J. Scott Outdoors podcast. As you know, my good friend Jason Hairston, the founder of KUIU Ultralight Hunting, has passed away within a matter of days ago. And the whole hunting community is in shock. All his family and friends obviously are in shock, and we're just so distraught about the tragedy that's happened. And I've tried on my Instagram account some of the hunts that I was on with Jason. I have tried to bring out some of those videos where people could see the guy that he was, and just try and shed light on some of the things that he accomplished and that he did. And I had got to thinking, I had done a bunch of podcasts with Jason, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and find some of the better podcasts that I did with Jason, and I'm going to bring them back to you. And I think I've been listening to them myself, and I've gotten a lot of value out of them. And I've been able to reminisce about Jason and the guy that he was and the passion that he had for the hunting business. And I just think a lot of people are going to get a lot of value out of listening to what he had to say, whether you're building a business, whether you're hunting, whether you're, whatever you're doing. I think there's lots of great tidbits throughout these podcasts. So, guys, on Instagram, I love the hashtag KUIU Strong. And I also, Jason's family has asked in lieu of flowers or anything like that to donate to the CTE studies and foundation. They're studying the effects of CTE, and I'm going to put a link for that in these show notes. And to all of Jason's, to the whole KUIU Nation, to Jason's family and friends. Um, this is a very, very difficult time, and I thought one of the best ways to highlight some of the things that Jason has done is to bring back his own voice and to replay some of these podcast episodes. So it's going to be tough to listen to, but I think in listening to all of these, I've just gotten a new appreciation for some of the things that he stood for and what have you. I want to thank you guys, the listeners, for this podcast, your loyalty to this podcast. And I also want to thank the sponsors of this podcast. Obviously, KUIU, Ultralight Hunting, KUIU.com. Jason Hairston and his whole crew over there at KUIU has been a sponsor of my podcast for many years now. And I want to thank them for their sponsorship. And I want to let you guys know that Jason surrounded himself with a great team. And he's got a great staff over at KUIU. And yes, losing the founder, losing the president, Jason was a huge part of the success at KUIU, but he does have a phenomenal team. The team is rallying. I was over there for the funeral and was able to talk with a lot of the employees and a lot of the staff at KUIU, and they are rallying. They are going to help Jason's legacy live on, and I think they're going to do a phenomenal job. So I appreciate all of you guys' support, the KUIU Nation support of KUIU, and I want to thank KUIU for their sponsorship of the podcast. You can go to KUIU.com and check out all of the different products there. And I also want to thank GoHunt.com. Cody Nelson, who is the glassing guru and the optics authority, is the new optics manager at GoHunt.com Gear Shop. You can call Cody directly for info sales at 702-847-8747, extension 2, or email Cody at optics, OPTICS, at GoHunt.com. Cody has promised me that he's going to take care of the J. Scott Outdoors listeners, so make sure to give Cody a call if you have any optics needs, whether it's spotting scopes, binoculars, rifle scopes, tripods, etc. Also, Canyon Coolers. Use the J. Scott promo code to get a 10% off all Canyon Coolers products. Go to canyoncoolers.com. Canyoncoolers.com. Use the J. Scott promo code to get 10% off all orders. Guys, let's get right to these episodes, and I appreciate your support. Welcome to the J. Scott Outdoors podcast. Today we have Jason Hairston of KUIU, the founder of KUIU. Jason, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Jay. Thanks for having me on. I always love our time together and appreciate your interest in having me on the show.
Absolutely, buddy. I've seen you in the last couple of trade shows in passing. Every time I've gone by the KUIU booth at SCI or at the Western Hunting Expo, it was literally people stacked in there like sardines and people trying stuff on, and you had stuff over each shoulder, and it was awesome. How was the trade show season for you?
Trade show season is incredible. I really enjoy the firsthand experience with our customers. We get such a massive response, and it's funny because every year we keep expanding the booth, keep adding more people to the booth to help the demand, and the demand keeps growing and growing and growing, and we get people still stacked up and waiting. We think we're going to, next year we'll fix that problem. And the demand just keeps growing, and the response to the brand continues to expand. It's so humbling and exciting to see. I just pinch myself every Monday when I walk in here to see what's happened to this brand in less than 5 years. It's just staggering.
It is. It's I read an article in Bloomberg, actually posted it on my blog, and I know you had it on the KUIU blog as well. And that was a phenomenal interview. What is it about your customers and the feedback that you get from your customers that is so rewarding for you? What aspect of the feedback is so rewarding?
Well, it's the loyalty and commitment to the brand that is unlike I've ever seen before, especially from this type of customer base. And I think that really comes from being totally transparent, involving the customers in a lot of the decisions that we make, listening to them, making them feel truly part of the family, which is, my approach to this business. We talk about it every day here at the office. It's a one customer at a time company. Our focus is servicing our customers. It's not about the end result of a financial gain or anything to do with the money. It's about servicing our customers with great service, great products, solving problems for them that they have either in the mountains or in other aspects of their lives that we can help with, and wrapping our arms around them so they'll never leave the brand, and focusing on the little things that we do every single day, whether it's a handwritten thank you note, I think is what has created this commitment and loyalty to what we're doing here at KUIU, and really creating, a true movement of how to build a company, how to build a brand, and how to build a true following and community around KUIU. It's been something that's, as we look at it and have people outside of this business analyze the things that we've done, continue to come back and tell us this has never been done before. And my focus when I started this thing was really to focus, like I said, on the customers, and out of fear, just opening this thing up and being totally transparent to try to build some trust around the products we were making. And in turn, it turned out to be something that's incredibly special and something that's never been done before. And now other people are trying to look at how to copy what we've done and see if they can move it into other markets. And we'll see if some of these other ventures people are modeling their companies after KUIU, whether they can have success in it or not, or whether we're a true unicorn, as people call us.
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned the handwritten notes. I had a friend of mine actually ordered some KUIU stuff, and he sends me a picture of a business card, his address, on the front of the envelope, and it says his name, and it says, "Thank you for ordering with us today. We're so happy to have you as a KUIU customer. If there's anything that I can help you with, please consider me your KUIU go-to girl, Kindy." And here's one of your employees writing a handwritten note, and it wasn't like he ordered, $3,000 worth of stuff. I think he got a super down jacket and a pair of pants. It's not like he bought the whole line, which a lot of people do. But to me, that personal touch is amazing, and I want to commend you on that. It's just something that's unheard of with a volume of business that you're doing to have the foresight to do those little things that mean a lot to people.
They do, and I'm a real student of business and brand building and customers, and my focus here has always been to build a remarkable experience around this business. And I love the word remarkable, because if you're doing something that's different and remarkable, people will talk about it. And you can build a brand off of remarkability, especially today with social media, just as you've seen on your social media outlets, how reaching it can be and how powerful and impactful it can be. And so that's what we try to focus on. And I love handwritten thank you notes. It's something that's gone away in business because of email and text and Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook. And it's so rare to get one these days from a company that it's a remarkable experience again. It used to be very common, and it's gone away. And it's those little details that I think that I continue to push my team here every day, is not to lose what's gotten us here, which is all the details and all the small things. And if we continue to worry about all the small little details in our products and our service and how we operate this business, the big things can happen. I watch so many companies get started on the little things and then turn and focus on the bigger things, which is typically because of wanting a return on their investment, and lose their way of what got them there.
Yeah, and I think as well as that, you have to also focus on that things are ever changing. And I think that's one of the things that, getting to hunt with you and getting to know you is, that things are changing, and that you've got to always be on top of your game. My question would be, like, in the future, how much of your time is spent on, innovating and trying to find the next best thing so that you don't become a thing of the past? Yep. And it's kind of a twofold question. As your products get better and better, it's kind of like, man, how can they get better than this product? And so how do you handle that?
That's a great question, Jay. Our main tagline from the beginning has been ultralight hunting, and focusing on reducing weight and I've seen the results from it like you have. Taking 10 pounds out of your pack or 4 pounds out of your layering system truly has an impact over a long mountain hunt. With that being the underlying focus of this brand, working with companies like a Toray, working with companies like the Merino company that invented new yarn, and focusing on finding new innovations and technologies that can continue to reduce weight without giving up performance, and focusing on I never stop researching materials and testing materials that can achieve a lighter weight and not give up performance or increase performance. That allows us to continue to reinvent ourselves, I believe, on a regular basis, and finding partners on the supply side, like a Toray or like a Merino company, or working with composite materials like carbon fiber. We can continue to look at what's out there and continue to work now directly with Toray's scientists and development teams on trying to find ways to reduce weight without giving up performance, and finding new innovations that we can reinvent our products on a continuous basis. It allows us to continue to reinvent ourselves, which I believe, like you mentioned, is key to stay relevant and key to stay on top. And this business model that I created, being direct to consumer, allows us to continue to reinvent ourselves at a pace that nobody else in our market, and really in any technical apparel or gear market, can compete with us as far as new innovations. And you've seen from the beginning, we continue to push them out on a regular basis, faster than it's ever been done before. And we're now being recognized by the outside magazines of the world and the outdoor community as the global leader in innovation, design, and technology and product advancement, which is great to see. It's the first time it's ever happened from a hunting company, and I'm really proud of that.
Obviously, Jason, with that success and with building the products that you have and having the wide range of line that you have, obviously there's going to be people that don't get the product because, quite frankly, it's hard to keep up with the unbelievable demand that you have had over the last 5 years. I know we've talked about it in prior podcasts, but can you touch on a little bit about what you would say maybe to the person that says, well, I can't get KUIU? My response usually is, well, you need to order it when it's not 2 weeks before hunting season. But what would your response be?
Well, I think stepping back and looking at how I built this business, and then I think the Bloomberg article is interesting for a lot of people to see. So I don't think most people realize this brand's going to be a $50 million brand this year. And we've done that in just 5 years. And that's a growth rate that's incredible. It's also a growth rate that I have pulled back the reins on. We could be larger than 50 million this year had I just decided to chase demand by going out and raising money and just buying endless amounts of inventory to meet the demand that's been out there for us. I had done that in the past with Sitka and went through that process with bringing in investors and watching what happened when we quit seeing eye to eye and their ability to force me out of the company that I built. Not wanting to go through that same situation again, I built a plan of growth at 110% a year since launch, and we've achieved that right on plan. Now, the demand for the business has been far beyond that, but it's put us now in a position where we're self-funding. I was able to get a large SBA loan this past summer, and if you look at our inventory today, we're at the highest inventory levels across each style, each category, and each product line that we've ever been in, at 93% at the start of the year. And going forward, you'll see that the out-of-stock inventory challenges that we've had in the past are a thing of the past. And the challenges that we've had have been put in place by myself so that I can stay in control of this business and not have to bring in professional outside money that would change the way this business is run. Instead of being built for the customers, I would have to run this business for the investors. And that whole philosophy changes on the products, on what I make, on how we service the customer, because I have to focus, instead of on the customer, on the return of their investment. And this was all done strategically by plan. And I know people have been frustrated, but there's a reason behind it.
Makes total sense. I know you went on some unbelievable hunts in 2015. I got to watch the video that's on your YouTube channel and on your website there at KUIU.com of you and Brendan hunting at Nahanni Butte and being the last people to ever hunt there. Talk to me a little bit about that experience and how that gear testing, went on that trip.
Well, one of the things I truly believe in is that if we're going to know whether our gear performs or doesn't perform, it has to be done in the field. We can look at all the data and all the analytics behind the products in laboratory testing, but really out in the field is when we'll know whether it truly delivers. And so I take it upon myself as the owner of the business that I need to be putting myself in those challenging situations like we have at Nahanni Butte or on a late season moose hunt like I did in September with my father, to really understand our limitations of our product, how to make it better. And that real world testing just gives me so much personal insight to how to continue to improve and evolve the products. The trip to Nahanni was great. I mean, it was certainly a different style of sheep hunt than I've ever done. I've hunted Dall sheep at Arctic Red River 3 times. This is the first time I've hunted Dall sheep outside of there. And they use helicopters to access us into some really remote country that's really inaccessible without a chopper, which gets us in a little bit further, a little bit closer to the sheep, and makes a very efficient hunt. It's how they set up their area to hunt. And being in an area that we were in, knowing that we're the last guys in to hunt it, was a real special feeling, especially Hell Roaring Canyon where we were placed, because it's over the years, historically, it's where they've killed a lot of really big old sheep. Not every client can hunt in that country because it's so steep and so rugged. And Jim had kind of knew we were coming and set that aside for Brendan and I to go in and hunt. Particularly Brendan's ram. It's one they'd seen the year before. The sheep I had killed, I don't know if they'd ever seen before, but we were just fortunate to find that that heavy old broomer all living completely by himself, and ended up just
what an awesome ram.
Ended up killing a sheep that I'd never ever anticipated ever see in my lifetime, let alone have a chance to make a stalk on and be successful in killing a ram like that. I mean, it's just an absolute ram of every guide's dream. And it's certainly not a fancy ram as far as long twisted tips, but as you get into sheep hunting, you start to understand and appreciate what these guides love, which are these old, heavy, thick, nasty broomers. It's what you know too, Jay. Not all clients can understand why that is such a special sheep until you kill one and get your hands on it. But man, it's certainly the finest trophy I've ever taken.
Yeah, it was awesome to watch, and Incredible video. Nice job. Let's take a quick break here, and then I want to ask you about KUIU and the logo being sheep and what that means to the brand. So let's take a quick break. So Jason, the sheep, the ram's horn has always been the logo of KUIU. Why was it important for you at the beginning of starting KUIU that be kind of the logo of your brand?
I believe that sheep hunting really finds the edges on performance of gear because of the remote places we have to go, the weather and the rapidly changing conditions we can face from one day to another, the steep climbs, the emotional, mental, and physical sacrifices we'll make on a sheep hunt really define what this brand stands for. And the level of performance, the level of commitment to the smallest details in our products, the materials we have to choose, has to deliver on a sheep hunt. And the ram defines that. And it's what we all dream about. I don't think it matters if you grew up in Alabama or California or Montana. We all dream of someday going in on a sheep hunt. And we may not ever achieve it as an individual, but there's certainly, I think for every hunter, that is the ultimate dream. And we like to sell the dream and create inspiration and create motivation to go chase those things, which, is every hunter's dream.
Absolutely. Jason, what does KUIU have coming in the pipeline here with new products here in 2016?
Well, we've got a new tent called the Storm Star, which is kind of the next evolution of the Mountain Star concepts. We took the external pole design, our hoop and truss, which is really well proven to be very storm and wind worthy because of the way that it preloads those hoops with a truss going over the top, securing those hoops to create a really structured design. And the truss, instead of being a short pole, now extends all the way to the ground on both vestibules. And we use that design to develop out a true four-season tent. Compared to what's out there, our focus was to find ways to reduce weight, which is always one of our goals, maintain four-season performance without just the sacrifice of weight, which is always a challenge, and then to increase breathability over what's out there in four-season tent design, and then really focus on the requirements and the needs of what hunters need in a four-season tent. And a lot of it is space. A lot of the mountaineering four-season tents are great, but they're just tight. And a lot of the guys that are up on Everest or doing high alpine climbs are small guys, and our clientele is different. So we took all of that into consideration when we created the Storm Star prototypes, and it's a project that's been in the pipeline for a long time, and we've spent 2 full seasons vetting and testing the concept, adjusting and changing materials. And you'll see when we release the tent here in March that there's been a lot of thought around every single aspect of this tent. If you look at the shape of the floor, instead of just being a typical rectangle shape, we broadened the shoulder area so that it's more of a trapezoidal design, so you have more room up in your shoulders for bigger people, smaller shape down towards your feet. We positioned the tent so it has a directional design, meaning you're going to sleep with your head at one end, which is the wider shoulder girth. That is also going to go into the wind, and the vestibules are all designed around that, as well as the venting to make sure we maximize breathability. On the seam structure, we took X-Pack material, which is a really unique material that is incredibly strong and durable. You'll find it on tents designed for Everest. And we implemented that into our high-stress seam lines to maximize durability of this tent in really, really tough conditions. And it's proven out to be a design that is superior above everything else out on the market. And then the great thing about it is, it's just over 5 pounds, and you get all of this technology and fabric and design advancements in a package that only costs $550 because it's in our direct-to-consumer business model.
Wow. Well, normally the same product would cost you $850 or $900 somewhere else.
Exactly. And this tent would be $1,100 with everything that we have into it if we were to turn around and sell it at retail. So you get you're getting a heck of a tent at $550 and just over 5 pounds.
Awesome.
I truly believe for the hunting market, it'll redefine the choice for four season tents.
Awesome. What else you got up your sleeve?
Well, last year we released Peloton, which was our first venture into synthetic knits. And I've been searching for a great synthetic knit program since the beginning. I truly believe that some of the synthetic knits are a great choice. They're very efficient as far as removing moisture from your body and then getting it out and evaporating it, different than merino wool because it's a hydrophobic fiber, meaning it hates water, so it wants to get rid of it. And a lot of the knits, like a fleece knit, is a great fabric. The challenge I've had is finding one that has the level of performance so we can put the KUIU name on it. And Toray took their amazing patented Prime Flex yarn and started developing a knit program for us, which is what we released with Peloton last year. In the Peloton 135, the 200 and the 240 series products that have gotten great response, have had great reviews from our customers, and we've been thrilled with how they performed in the mountains. And we've taken those knits and we've put them into a whole new range of headwear program for us, from some different styles and weights of beanies to balaclavas to neck gaiters, and then also in a Peloton 135 zip-off bottom. So now you have a synthetic bottom, a 200 zip-off bottom, so you've got that jersey fleece, really warm, light, mid-layer type
with the same
zip-off
technology like you had in the merino wool?
Exactly. And then,
awesome.
Yep, it's amazing. And then we built a Peloton 135 boxer brief. So now we have, we can truly skin to shell on a layering system using all KUIU products.
Incredible. Well, that sounds great. When is most of that stuff going to be released?
That'll be released in April.
Awesome.
And you'll see the new catalog. We just finished the proof of the catalog yesterday, and that catalog will be released in April, announcing all of these new products. Along with that, we added in a new insulation bottom using essentially all the materials in the Kenai jacket and a zip-off Kenai bottom.
Nice.
Which will be an outstanding product for your later season hunts, or if you want to use a synthetic over down. That comes in a zip-off style bottom called the Kenai bottom.
So, in other words, like the super down pants that are zip-off, now you're going to have the Kenai pants, in essence, with an insulation bottom. Same thing, but it's going to be made with the synthetic.
Yes, but it's a different style. It's like a true mid-layer piece. So it's one that you can, it will be the same styling and look of like the Peloton, the Merino 210 bottom that people are used to, or with the Peloton 200 that's coming out.
Gotcha.
So it won't be like a standalone pant that you find with the Super Down. It's a mid-layer type of insulation piece. Because it's an active insulation, guys can hike in it. I want it set up for more like a mid-layer style. It makes more sense for that particular technology in the insulation.
Yeah, and for the listeners out there, Jason, real fast, you did a great video, but can you recap the video, the reason you would use the synthetic versus the down in more active situations?
Yeah, I mean, what's great about down is it's incredibly warm for its weight. And it packs down to nothing. The fact that we use such a high grade of down, which is, I source and spec all of our down out of Poland. Polish down has bigger clusters because they harvest their geese at an older age in colder climates, so you get a higher grade down feather. And then, as you know, we treat at the nano level with durable water repellency by Toray, so those feathers don't ever get wet, which makes it a really versatile piece, and it solves the problems that we've had with down in the past. The only problem we can't solve is that we have to coat the nylon fabrics with a coating to keep the down feathers from pushing through the materials. And that coating essentially makes those fabrics almost so they don't breathe. They breathe very limited. So if you've been hiking in our down jacket, you get really sweaty in it, which is fine if you're climbing. You don't need the down. You're just going to take it out of your pack and sit behind glass for hours. But if you need to travel in your insulation, that's the negative to down. Where the KUIU product uses a continuous fiber insulation that Tori created, so we don't have to coat the fabrics at all. So we can maximize breathability with a 3DFX synthetic, and so you can hike in it. You can breathe. It breathes. It lets the moisture transfer right through it. The downside to it is it's not quite as light, not quite as packable, not quite as warm as down. So there's a trade-off. The other nice thing about KUIU, you never have to worry about moisture. I would argue that you don't have to worry about moisture with their down products, but it's just going to function differently. It's also, the KUIU is incredibly quiet, as you know. You can make a stock in that jacket. You don't have to take it off. It's going to be more versatile, wider range of conditions you can use it in. So kind of covers a lot of different aspects depending on the style of hunting you're doing. If guys going on an ultralight backpack sheep hunt, I recommend Super Down. If they're looking for something that they can take in a wider range of hunts, I recommend KUIU.
Yeah, good description there. I think bow hunting friendly, the KUIU, very quiet. I really enjoyed using the KUIU all this last season.
Yeah, I love it.
For sure. Yeah, it's great stuff. Jason, I want to talk to you real quick. I know you got to get running. Some of the biggest hurdles for KUIU, and how do you overcome those hurdles now that you've grown into such a force in the industry?
Some of the, obviously, we'll face, the growing pains of every business, and that's, and looking at our growth and looking at how to continue to support the amount of demand we're having. We've put a lot of investment in 2015 into our infrastructure, and the biggest being a new website partnership with a platform called Demandware, which is the most advanced e-commerce platform you can possibly invest in. It took us a bit to get qualified to even be a Demandware partner, but they're working with really top-end brands like a Tory Burch, like GoPro, like Columbia, and we're their first true hunting brand to come into that platform. And that's going to give us a lot of the data and analytics that we've been blind to, which is really the true power of a true e-commerce business. And it's let us do a lot of future planning around inventory, around cash flow requirements, around business requirements that we've been blind to in the past. And so as we analyze that and look at the data and analytics of where this business is going, it's given us the ability to kind of see into the future that we haven't had before and start to plan around better inventory purchasing, working more closely with our supply chain on future demand, and work in advance versus just in a reactive state. And what's hard to know is how deep this demand curve is and how much growth this brand's going to experience over the next 24 months. I've had to hire a sales rep in Europe last year. We hired a sales rep in New Zealand to cover Australia and New Zealand customer requirements and questions and shipping and customs challenges. We've hired a second person for Europe that starts this spring, and looking at trying to understand global demand and how to service customers in Europe, how to service customers in Australia, and give them the same brand experience that our customers in the United States achieve. Same with Canada. We've had some challenges with getting product across the border without our customers paying a ton of duty and taxes and tracking packages and getting things through customs in a timely manner. It's been a challenge, and those are the things we really face that we weren't anticipating, was this global demand for KUIU. And it's something that we recognize and something that we're working towards. But it's a big challenge ahead of us is making sure that we can service our customers on a global basis when we really built this plan out for this business at this point to service just the United States.
Awesome. It's awesome to be in that position. Real fast, KUIU Film Festival.
Yeah, exciting. I'm really excited about this. One of the things I love about our customers is how fanatical they are about our brand. All the pictures we get, all the short little video clips we've received from customers over the years, and really wanting to create the opportunity for more people to see what people are shooting on film, and to create a platform where people could be recognized for their work, and to let people see what's out there as far as video, to create some awards and recognition around each category, whether you're just an amateur, whether it's a short film, whether it's a long film, whether it's professionally done, or it's your first go at creating some sort of video piece from your hunts. And I'm excited about having this platform out there to showcase our customers and some of the videos they've produced, and the response has been well beyond what I anticipated. I think the other day I looked and we had over 50 films in, and the deadline's still not for a couple weeks. And so we're going to go through and vet the films. We'll put up, our top, the top 10 or 15 per category that we review in-house, and then we'll let the public choose who their favorites are.
Awesome. Well, it's been great having you on with us as always. I do have to rub a little bit of salt in the wound. It was one of those years this year in Mexico Coues deer hunting that I know I can just say you should have been there with us, buddy. We whacked a few good bucks for sure, and so I hate to rub that in again, but it was
big?
great.
What were like the three biggest you sent me pictures of, but I never got the scores on them? Do you guys have rough estimates on those $3?
Yeah, so Eric, who's a KUIU customer of yours, shot a 127 real bladed, palmated 4x4, just a beautiful buck. Yeah, just mass all over. And then we had Tim Schinenbarger he's a wildlife sculpture guy, and Where's KUIU? He shot a 117 buck, kind of a narrow, heavy, really neat buck. And then we got a couple of 112 bucks. Dean Heitzelman from Pennsylvania, who's completed the Super Slam and shot a lot of stuff. He got his best Coues deer at 112, and we got another 112, and so it was. Had you
seen that 127 before you killed it?
I didn't see it, but Hunter Haynes, whom you know, who guides for us, he saw the buck with another guy, Seth Maskey, like 2 or 3 days before we got it. And then we started penetrating that country that he was rutting so hard he chased does up and over a hill. By the time we could get up and around where he was, he kind of gave us the slip and ended up glassing him up. I was by myself on the 5th day. I kind of took a flyer to try and get around in some country where I could look in there, and found him. And it was awesome though. We ended up getting a 127 and a 112 on the same hill.
Wow.
The same day, and it was a great ending to this year's hunt. Yeah. So
did you have any idea he was that big?
I mean, Hunter kept saying he's big, Jay. I think he's over 120. And, as soon as I glassed him up, I immediately started digiscoping him. And then after about, 45 seconds or so, I had to just stop and start concentrating because I realized how big he was. I didn't know he was 127, but he was one of those bucks when you see, you're just like, I got to get that buck.
Oh, yeah.
Or, I got to get someone on it. So, yeah, it was an awesome time. Look forward to having you down another time.
Yeah,
we had a great time a few years ago. So, buddy, I know you're busy. Thanks for all that you do at KUIU. And
look forward to the next time coming on with you. Congratulations on all your success with your podcast. I know I get a ton of response from when I'm on it, and just thank you so much for your interest in covering what we're doing.
Sounds good, buddy. You take care. God bless.
Jay.
Okay.
You too. Bye-bye.